Hello listeners, welcome to KORC's News, Music, and Civics Show. I'm Wendy Byrne, your host for the Corvallis Civics Cafe, where I review city-related meetings and share information about local civics. What's on tap for today? Well, last week the Budget Commission met for the first time this year, which was a low-grade kickoff for budget season. At other meetings, members of the Downtown Vitality Strategy Task Force began their efforts to digest the significant supply of community input they gathered over the last few months. Additionally, a small, lightly attended neighborhood meeting presented me with an unexpected yet useful lesson in civics. Let's get into it. In 2025, the city adopted a 2-year budget covering the fiscal years of 2025 through 2027. While that means there will be no new budget adopted this year, the Budget Commission will have work to do. Thus, on Monday, March 9th, 14 of the 18 members of the Commission were present in person at a special meeting to hear city staff give updates on, quote, the critical conversations the city is having that impact the financial position of the city, unquote. Regular listeners to the Civics Cafe will be familiar with these two items, which have been on the menu because they are frequent topics at City Council meetings. Number 1 was a review of the city's anticipated structural budget gap, which is projected to be approximately $8.1 million for the 2027-2029 budget cycle. Number 2 was what is called Facilities Needs. This short title, Facilities Needs, is, to me, particularly awkward shorthand for the larger concept that the city's administrative buildings are old and small. The point of this second topic was to review, and I quote, staff and the council's efforts over the past 5 years to evaluate, plan for, and address the city's long-standing facilities needs through timely and strategic investments, unquote. Over the course of the meeting, Director of Finance James Inglis presented the council with charts and graphs to demonstrate how the city's income is failing to meet our expenses, also known as the budget gap. He also educated the commission members on terminology and other aspects of the city budget. Questions were encouraged, which led to exchanges such as this one between Councilor Charlyn Ellis and Director Inglis.
James, you were talking about being a little more accurate on projecting personnel vacancies. Next year, are you going to adjust for the normal vacancy rate?
Later in the meeting, Director Inglis and City Manager Mark Shepard gave an overview of the progress City Council has made in addressing the need for new city facilities, namely a new administrative building and a new law enforcement building. Most recently, the City Council directed staff to focus on 3 possible ways to pay for new buildings, and staff is planning to bring more information on those proposed options to the Budget Commission at some point in the near future. The 3 options are a general obligation bond, a payroll tax, and an income tax. Thanks to the discussion during this meeting, I learned something new and unexpected, that the City Council could decide to move forward with imposing a payroll tax in Corvallis without a vote of the public. This point was discussed during the meeting.
Payroll tax does not have to go to the voters. It could be a council decision.
Of note, when City Council members in Salem attempted to impose a payroll tax without a vote of the public, the voters referred it to the ballot, where it failed. In conclusion, this first meeting of the Budget Commission brought up a key topic that I expect will come up for Corvallis in the near future and beyond, namely, what services do we expect from our city, and how much are we willing to pay to have those services? This is something that Budget Commission member and former Mayor Biff Traber brought up at the Budget Commission meeting.
But you've got to let people know, okay, if we can't afford to be a full-service city, here's what the Corvallis version of a limited service city is going to be. It's just I get the sense council has not yet started on facing the difficult question of, do you cut library hours or do you go back to the either-or fire department operation?
What else happened last week? Members of 2 subcommittees of the Downtown Vitality Strategy Task Force met to begin processing the community input, a process that looked particularly challenging. If you participated in their outreach efforts via their online survey or in person at an open house, your input was recorded and is being considered. Subcommittee members took an overview of all the input received to get a big picture idea of which items the community feels are most important to address for our downtown. In the future, if people want to know how the task force came up with the final report that we are expecting to come to council this summer, they can look back to the recordings of these meetings in March. As a Corvallis Civics junkie, I found so many interesting takeaways from these meetings, as the task force members discussed what they are learning from the public's feedback about downtown Corvallis. So much to share, so little time. I would like to point out one notable item regarding our desire for community public spaces. Committee member Robin Lancaster made the point that while there is broad public support for community gathering spaces in general in the downtown core, when those spaces were specifically attached to a municipal building, the community support dissolved. Interesting, and fully supported by the survey responses. If you are curious about the survey responses, all of the information is available in the city archives. If you need to find it, let me know, and I will send you a link. For the coming week, there are several meetings of note on the calendar. At City Council on Monday, March 16th, there will be a presentation of the annual report from the Corvallis Arts Center and an update from members of the Downtown Vitality Strategy Task Force. Regarding old business, the Council will make a decision on a revised noise ordinance, and in new business, they will hear the application for multi-unit property tax exemption for the 13-story building on 4th Street between Western and Adams, the one being called Pine View. Additionally, Councilor Olson has submitted a resolution addressing escalating federal immigration enforcement. The meeting might get spicy and might go long, but should be interesting. On Tuesday evening, the city is hosting a webinar information session about the Green Grant and Empowerment Grant programs. Have a cool community project that needs funding? Tune in on Tuesday, March 17th at 5:15 p.m. to see if either of these grant programs will work for you. For more details, check out the Spotlight section of the city website at corvallisoregon.gov. On Wednesday, March 18th, the Planning Commission has several weighty items to address. Their agenda includes a public hearing and 2 separate work sessions. The hearing is about text amendments to the city's comprehensive plan for the Water Distribution and Treatment Facilities Master Plan. One work session will address Land Development Code amendments that were triggered in 2025 due to legislative actions at the state level. The other work session will address the Planning Commission's annual work plan. Several new members have joined the Planning Commission in the past year, and from what I have observed, they are up to the challenge of dealing with an agenda like this. On Thursday, March 19th, the City Council work session will include a 30-minute update from members of Phase 2 of the Charter Review Task Force and a 90-minute presentation from city staff about the Safe Streets and Roads for All Task Force, which includes a review of the draft of their key assignment, the creation of a Transportation Safety Action Plan for the city. Finishing up the week, Government Comment Corner will take place at the Benton County Public Library on Saturday, March 21st from 10 a.m. to noon with Ward 3 Councilor Jim Moorfield. Have thoughts or questions about city government? Government Comment Corner is open to all community members and is a good opportunity to interact with city officials in the relaxed atmosphere of our wonderful public library. It's time for food for thought, or maybe this week we will just call this section a short lesson in civics. Last week, despite the gloomy weather, I convinced myself to leave the house and attend, in person, a neighborhood meeting regarding the proposal to build restrooms in Central Park. This meeting was not on the city calendar. It was not recorded and is not available to be watched on Vimeo. You had to be there, in person. I heard about it when I watched the recording of the February meeting of the Parks and Recreation Operational Advisory Committee. As promised, Parks and Recreation staff are proceeding with their plans to build restrooms in the park, and have decided on the best location, which is on the south side of the park close to the playground. Because of the location, they need to apply for what is called a Major Development Standard Adjustment, and as part of that process, they needed to invite residents from within a given radius of the park to attend a neighborhood meeting. And that, dear listeners, is how it came to be that on Tuesday night, I and 2 other community members attended a meeting hosted by 5 city staff members who were more than capable of answering all of our questions about their plans to install not 1, but 2 Portland loos in Central Park. I'm all for it. One attendee asked, "Will there be a vote of the public on this item?" No, sir, there will not. Next steps for this project include a hearing at the Planning Commission, followed by a hearing at the City Council. If you have thoughts about flush toilets in Central Park, share them with your city councilor. Thanks for joining me at the Corvallis Civics Cafe. I hope the show serves you useful information about local civics and inspires you to engage with our city. Whether you follow the show at korcfm.com or on the radio at 105.9 FM or as a standalone podcast, if you have feedback for me, you can reach me at wendy@korcfm.com. For those of you who stay to the end of the program, I'm ending this episode with audio outtakes from 2 members of the Downtown Vitality Strategy Task Force Infrastructure Subcommittee, Carolyn Mayers and Steve Starcevich, who made strong points about the benefits that high-density housing can bring to downtown Corvallis.
If we don't have people downtown, it's never going to thrive, and it cannot be dependent on visitors always.
Safety and economy are obviously a big concern of everybody. Getting more people, high density of people living downtown solves a whole bunch of your economic problems and safety problems. Getting high density housing into downtown is absolutely key to the long-term prosperity and safety, the feelings of safety, because you have people living there. They'll go to the businesses, the vacant businesses will fill up, there'll be people walking around, on and on and on.
Until next time, I'm Wendy Byrne.